Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem, El Shai Ba'Shem, Rakakodah, Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of you elect out there, Shalom to you all. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video, All Hell Can Break Loose, or May Break Loose, on November 5th. That's the election day. Now, when I say that, I'm talking about November 5th, the election day. Usually you'll find out 9 o'clock, they're talking about who is a potential winner. Sometimes it goes a couple of hours, but you should know. Well, when Trump became the president, which was a shock to me, it was about 2 in the morning. I believe that fell on the 6th of November, because it's the first Tuesday of November, which can fall on the 6th, the 5th, depending on, how the month comes in. So, like I said, it was about, I went to sleep at 9 o'clock. They didn't know who won between Trump and, who the hell was he running against? I even forgot who he was running against. Not even important. And he won. And it was like maybe 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and it said Trump definitely won. I said, oh shit. I believe the Democratic nominee was Hillary Clinton, and they were saying, oh, Hillary's going to win, if I'm not mistaken. But it wound up him being the winner. And I remember when Barack Obama became president, nobody really thought he was going to be. He was a young guy. He was a state senator, then he became senator. Nobody knew this guy. 2004, nobody knew him. 2005, they started hearing the word Obama. Then all of a sudden, in a couple of years, he shoots up and becomes. And I said, "Wow, this is a rig." This guy was the least experienced guy, and he becomes the president. So how we, look at these elections. That they're not elected; they're selected by the elite. So, anything can happen. Now, the atmosphere is who's going to be the president. And so I'm looking at this video. You got to watch this video. Which this is the first time you come across this video. What is it? Black Scout. So he would be like a prepper. He probably was in the military. Looks like military. Something big is coming. And in this video, the something big that's coming is going to come on or around Tuesday night. So I'm going to definitely be glued to the Roku, probably CNN, probably on the web. And the whole world's watching this. Because depending on who becomes the next president, you have China that wants to bring their electric cars and their cars to this side of the world, but they're blocked. If you notice, you never seen a Chinese car. The biggest company, I believe, is it BYD? And they make some superior cars. So this is right here, right? BYD Yangwang U9. Reasonably priced hypercar. Right, hypercar meaning it's gas and electric. So I showed this video the other day. So this is I'm sorry, let me do this.
There are trucks, and then there's the GMC.
Okay, so this right here is one of the cars that they make, and this is a hypercar or hybrid. It's electrical and it's internal combustion engine. So the Chinese want to bring these cars to the U.S. and they're reasonably cheap compared to American cars. Like I said, I covered that whole thing. Then they even got a sports car, which is only $230,000 compared to cars that are compared to a $2 million car. So Trump doesn't want the cars to come here because it'll kill the auto business. It'll kill a lot of people. Going to start buying these cars in America, but they can't. And if they do come, there's going to be a high, a tariff, as opposed to an embargo. A tariff is when you put a heavy tax on a car, but it's so cheap that people will still be willing to buy it. But anyway, I heard somebody say that the Chinese are hoping like hell that Kamala becomes president, because then they can make a deal with her to bring those Chinese cars into the U.S. They got the Chinese cars in Europe and other places around the world, but the major market is the U.S., the great consumer country. So they're saying, but if Trump gets in, he'll block the Chinese car makers from coming into the United States, and if they come in, it's going to be a high tariff. So I covered that in the video that I did yesterday. But anyway, so you got China. Like I said, China, they said, look, if Kamala becomes president, we can work with that administration. So let me come on back over here. So everybody around the planet, these major world nations, everybody's going to have their eyes glued as to who's going to be the next president. But now they're saying, like in this video, it's on the regular news, CNN and other news companies. They're boarding up everything in D.C. They're putting up fencing and so forth. So anyway, I'm looking at this video, and I'm looking at the thumbnail. So it says countdown till the third woe, part 25, and this is put up by GMS Vegas Sit Down 144K, which this is a series of videos. And he makes very informative videos, goes into a lot of prophecy. Okay, I watch him, I subscribe to him, Patrick Humphrey. He always starts, this is emergency breaking news. Anyway, it says alert, National Guard sent to multiple U.S. cities for civil unrest and riots during the elections or during the election. So the whole world's going to be watching this election process. Who's going to be the next president? Another reason why you should stay away from the black woman. She ain't nothing but a damn demon. A break-in, military helicopters are swarming D.C. And the real reason will leave you speechless. And that's the Next News Network. I believe I subscribe to that channel. a new spike fence goes up in the White House compound before Election Day. So they're expecting things to go left. Trump will win, and here's why. Well, you don't know that. You don't know what the selectors are going to do. How to prepare for Election Day chaos. And Jake ain't thinking like this, man. Ain't nobody thinking about no damn Diddy, but you simple ass Jakes. He's nothing but a entertainment. He's a distraction. Four instances in one day proving our elections are compromised. This is why it's stupid to vote. A daily education edification for. National alert: Russian nuclear forces put into service. America on high alert. Our showdown with the UN at their headquarters. I don't know what that's all about. Prepare warning, major threat to U.S. And this is Black Scout survival. On the verge of societal collapse. And Jake is going to get caught with their pants down, so to speak. See, Jake don't know what's really going on, you know? A lot of these Edomites are preparing. Okay, this is live. JLR, which I believe I subscribed to him too. Civil unrest, election, National Guard activated. So anyway, I put a list together. I'm not going to make this long. We'll try to breeze through this list. And the headline is war. So I put some precepts together. So let me just go into these precepts. I didn't get nothing out of the Apocrypha. I didn't check the Apocrypha. which I may do. Okay, I put it at 20th verse. In famine he shall redeem thee, which is elect from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth, for thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. The beast, the wild beast, shall be at peace with thee. And thou shalt know that thy tabernacle shall be in peace, and thou shalt visit thy habitation and shalt not sin. And ultimately, that's when we come up under the new covenant. We're not in the new covenant yet. Thou shalt know also that thy seed shall be great. This is the kingdom, and thine offspring as the grass of the earth. Thou shalt come to thy grave in a full age, like as a stock of corn cometh in his season. Lo, this we have searched it, so it is. Hear it and know thou it for thy good. So we're going to be protected. Let me jump up to the 12th verse. The Most High is just, right? You can read the whole chapter. Twelfth verse we're going to start at. He disappointed the devices of the crafty, that's Esau, the elite, so that their hand cannot perform their enterprise. They want to chip everybody. Not everybody's going to want to be chipped. The elect is not going to get chipped. You know, there's brothers asking, well, what if they force a chip on you? They can't force a chip on you. If they do, that means you're not of the elect. That's all that means. It said he taketh the wise in his own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward. Now this Kamal is saying a new way forward, which is bullshit. You know, that's a campaign slogan. Like Biden, build back better. What did he build? He didn't build shit. Is on your job reports, I did a video on that last night. Job report, October 1st for the month of September was 12,000 new jobs. When you break that up, it breaks up the 50 states. That means there was only 240 jobs given out when you break it up as far as the states are concerned. So that shows you that the economy is bad. They're laying people off left and right in different jobs. Certain jobs are going out of business. It says they meet with darkness in daytime and grope in the noon as in the night. When you grope, that means you're looking for the door handle because there's no light in there. And there's a blackout. People are groping. But he saves the poor, the bums. He's going to save the bums, Nate. He's going to save the bums from the sword, from their mouth, and from the hand of the mighty, the elite, the ones that's in power. I don't know if they went up there and told you, but the ones in power, the elite, the secret elite, they're gonna make it though. They're not gonna be destroyed. They're gonna make it because they're gonna be the first to go into captivity. They're gonna be the first to get arrested. Psalms 149, and read that whole chapter. We usually start from around the 5th verse, but read that whole. It's a short chapter. So the poor hath hope. So the bums got hope, Nate. And iniquity stoppeth her mouth. Wickedness stoppeth her mouth. Behold, happy is the man whom the Most High correcteth. Therefore despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty. Hey, guys get chastened and they'll lead the truth. For he maketh sore and bindeth up. He woundeth and his hand make whole. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, or 6 trumpets in Revelation. Yea, in the 7th, there shall no evil touch thee, because we're going to be up in ships if we're of the elect, and if we remain diligent, and if we endure to the end. So we're looking forward to these civil unrest, a civil war, hell breaking loose, World War III, Armageddon. We're looking forward to that. Hurry up and come. We're looking forward to the MOTB, because once the MOTB, once they establish that throughout the earth, then the clock starts ticking, and we almost out this bitch. Let's see what Job 38:23 says. This video is also called This Morning's Edification, which I have reserved against the time of trouble. What trouble is that? Jacob's trouble. When all hell breaks loose, that's Jacob's trouble. Is Esau going to be in trouble? You got there right. So it's Esau's trouble too, against the day of battle and war, the ultimate war. Jeremiah 30:7. Let's see what that says. We're going to finally get our hands on these Edomites and these other nations. We're going to be on top. We're going to kick their asses. We're going to work the shit out. We're going to work the hell out of them. And Vocab is trying to wait. He knows that he's going into captivity, so he's trying to. He going back and forth with Captain Jazariak. And how did he say it? He said, "Well, you just gonna kill? You gonna slice a Edomite's neck? Because he knows he represents Esau. And yeah, but that's against the law. You just can't slice a person's neck. And when we take you over in war, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. If the Most High said you going to war, one nation going to war against another nation, you can do whatever the hell you want to do, because that's not murder." It says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he which the elect them shall be saved out of it." And this, I got to do a full breakdown of this chapter, because it says a whole lot. It says a whole lot. Deliverance from captivity promise. So we're going to be delivered from this last captivity. So now in Jeremiah 30 verse 7, it actually says Jacob's trouble. And that's the only time it's written, Jacob's trouble. Let me do this. Let me just put trouble. We're going to be delivered in the midst of Jacob's trouble. Right. Job 3:26. I was not in safety, neither had I rest, neither was I quiet. Yet trouble came. What trouble? Ultimately Jacob's trouble. Yet men is born into trouble, as the sparks fly upward. Oh, this is a famous one. We used to bring this out a lot. Man, I can have babies. I had you, whatever. So you hit them with that. You hit your mama with that when she says that she made you. Man that is born of a woman is a few days and full of trouble. So that's why Job in Job chapter 3 said he wished he could have been miscarriage. Right. Will the Most High hear his cry when trouble cometh upon him? Now that applies to Esau, that applies to us. So when we cry and we're the elect, the Most High is going to hear our cry and deliver us. When Esau cries, Most High is not going to deliver them. When the other nations cry, the Most High is not going to deliver them. When the 2/3 cry, or the rest of the Israelites, then the Most High is not going to hear them. We're going to hear the cries of the elect. Okay, this is Psalms 55:21. I already know what this is going to say before I bring it up. The words of his mouth. The words of his mouth are smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So they got the sword behind them. That's war. And this is a warlike society right here. Let me do this. Where's the Google at? Let's see what comes up. A history of American wars, including major conflicts like the American Revolution. Right, the American Revolution. The War of 1812. Mexican-American War, the American Civil War, the Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, the Korean War, conflict, the Vietnam War. War was in their hearts. Wait a minute, how many wars are there in U.S. history? Okay, they said 12 major wars. Let me do this. Let me erase this. A list of wars in America. So there you go. This country was founded on 1775, 1776. They had war. That was a revolutionary war. Indian wars. They had a number of Indian wars, and they lost a lot of them. War of 1812 was against the elite in England. So now they're fighting secret wars. Got military, U.S. military over there in Ukraine, but they're not, and they're getting killed too. List of wars involving the United States. This is war. I had to say that. I had to bite that from Nate. Here you go. Going to all the wars that they had. Yeah, they came against the Cherokee American Wars. Because that's when they first, from 1776, they said, this is our land, we're finding it. So they encountered the Indians, man, because they were pushing them out. Just like what the Jays are doing to the Palestinians. They call them back then, they call them settlers. President of the Continental Congress and Cherokee American Wars. John Hancock. Only John Hancock sticks out. Presidents of the United States. Northwest Indian War, because they had to push them out. They went to evict them out of their land. Yeah, the Western Confederacy is Great Britain, British North America. Look at this. I didn't even know about this. American-Algerian War. We didn't even know about this. 1785 to 95. That's a 10-year war. So when they established, the United States, 1776, they were at war with everybody. United States, Regency of Algiers. Algerian victory. So I believe they won, right? It says establishment of the United States Navy through the Naval Act of 1794. The U.S. government agrees to pay an annual tribute of 21,000 $1 million tribute offered to the day. So it says, let me go to the top. It said results for the United States and its allies. So who won that war? The Algerians. Algerian victory. They don't teach you that in history school. Was it quasi-war, 1798 to 1800? We're talking 2-year war, United States against France. The history of war, 19th century, which is the 1800s. And they had allies back then in the 1800s. The United States, Sweden, Kingdom of Sicily, Malta, Portugal, Morocco. Opponents, the Ottoman Turks. And the U.S. won that. So, hey, these nations really, they hate this place. And they show hate the Hua. This war involved the War of 1812. They don't give you the true history. It was the Rothschilds was behind that. And that was a 3-year war. United States, a Choctaw Nation, Creek allies. So you had GAD fighting alongside of the U.S. against United Kingdom, British North America, right? British North America, because the 13 colonies are colonies of Great Britain. So they said, "Nah, we breaking off. We taking what you got." Then they went west through a thing called the Monroe Doctrine, and then go back to the 1400s, the late 1400s. You had the popes with their papal bulls. Which one said it? Somebody help me out. I'm not going to go look for it. I don't believe it was it Caesar Borgia's father or was it another pope? But he had signed a papal bull. Matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to look that up too. So it says here that United States and the Cherokee Nation, the Creek allies, fought against United Kingdom, British North America, the Canadas. When you go to Canada, you get dollar, the Canadian money that has the Queen on it. What is this? Tocomas. Okay, so these were Native Americans fighting against Native Americans. List in Spain. Inconclusive, there was no victor. Other results, Treaty of, what is that, Ghent? Military stalemate. There was no victor. Okay, these are Gadites fighting against the U.S. This is why we don't. You see, Jake men are not even voting, or they're voting for Trump. They're not voting for Kamala. And you got this guy Barack come out there. First of all, Barack, nobody. You're gonna come like you are like somebody's goddamn father. You didn't do nothing for us. Yeah, you voted for me. You should. Yeah, they voted for you because they thought they were gonna get changed. They didn't get a motherfucking thing from you, man. Ain't no Jake listening to you. These dumbass black women, they voting because they don't know what the hell is going on. Told you, Jake men, leave these Jake women alone. This is a whole, look at all of these wars, man. Every time the United States turn around, they go into war. Spanish Florida. Florida is a Spanish name, and which is the state of Florida. That was Seminole. Them are Israelites right there. Look at that. Them are Israelites. A Native American people who developed in Florida. That's Reuben. In the 18th century. Today, they live in Oklahoma. I told Ricard, I said, you're not a Gadite, you're a Reubenite. No, I ain't a Reubenite. My people's from Oklahoma. Then he did the history and found out you had the thing called the Trail of Tears, where they went from Florida, the Reubenites, to Oklahoma during the time of, what's this guy, Jackson, Andrew Jackson. He was also known as the Indian killer in Florida. And so they said, we're going to push you Gadites out because we want this land. Now look at them. Them are beautiful Israelites. Them are Israelites right there. You see they got the long dresses. You got Gad with fringes on. Ancient noble people. The Reubenites. Oops, let me come on back. Arikara War was a military conflict between the United States and Arikara in 1823, fought in the Great Plains along the upper Missouri River. Also known as Sadnish, Arikari, Ri, or Hyundai, are a tribe of Native Americans in North Dakota. So this is a war, United States war against this particular tribe of Gadites. Inconclusive other results. White Peace Treaty agreed by U.S. Colonel Leavenworth, meaning they weren't able to defeat these guys. They lost a lot of wars to Gad. Because Gad is one of the warrior tribes. Mosai put the spirit of war in Gad, Reuben, and Manasseh. And this is all about taking people's land. The scriptures speak about a landmark. Look at that. Did y'all know about this? Second Seminole War, 1835 to 1842. So we're talking what, 7 years? A 7-year war against the Seminoles. Seminole wouldn't make a treaty with this man. for the most part. U.S. victory. Seminole transported to the Indian territory, res. Approximately 300 remain in Everglades. Yaqub, the father of Ariel, used to live in the Everglades. He was a security guy with a 6-shooter at this casino at Lake Okeechobee, and he in the Everglades, and it was you had Jake, you had the different tribes, Gad and Issachar and so forth, and somebody came up to him and said, "You see these people? They're all Israelites." So he took it to be that got to be an angel. That's before he woke up to the truth. So he was told about the truth. Look at that. Battle of Drummond Island, 1841, because the U.S. tried to take Gad down. These are Gadites. I'm sorry. Anyway. Mexican-American War. You got California, you got Texas. That's all Mexico. And when they come over here, they call them wetbacks. That's their land. They were here before you got here. Now look at this, man. They don't teach this in school. They don't teach you this in this man's school. Navajo Nation. They warred against the Navajo Nation. Long walk of the Navajo moved to reservations. What's a reservation? An American Indian reservation is an area of land held and governed by the U.S., which is really a concentration camp. They said, "This you're gonna be here. This is your land. You can do what you want with it, but don't come past this border, or we're gonna arrest you." The troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Genesis chapter 49. Look at this. They were fighting against the Moabites. Battle of Muddy Flat. Look, the pro-slavery settlers, anti-slavers, settlers, free staters versus pro-slavery settlers, border ruffians. Kansas is admitted as a free state in January of 1861. Pro-slavery. United States, before 1865, a slave state was a state in which slavery and the internal or domestic slave trade were legal, while in a free state was one in which they were prohibited between 1812 and 1850. When England was over here in New York, they had slaves. Slavery was up in New York, up here in the north. Okay, this is another war, Puget Sound War against Gad, part of American wars. Location, Washington. These are all Gadites, Native American tribes. The Great Seal, tribe of Indians, Poi al Up, tribe of Indians. Another Gadite, a beautiful Gadite. Looks like it's a woman, I believe. Yeah, beautiful Gadite woman. Look at the beard, the full beard. It was an Israelite. The troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. War was in their heart. Third Seminole War. The Yakama are in. And Yakama is Hebrew. Yakama are a Native American tribe with nearly 10,000 plus members, based primarily in eastern Washington state. Because remember, they went to the west. This is in the mid to late, mid 1800s. The Monroe Doctrine. So it says better is the end of a thing than the beginning. That's what the scriptures say. So this is the end of our punishment and the beginning of Esau's punishment. Lamentation 4:21. And look at this. Look at this. Look at this here. This is a long list. So every time the U.S. turned around, they were going to war against somebody. And they were declaring war. The virgin daughter of Babylon, nobody declared war against them. They declared a war against others. So the whole world sees it. They were fighting against their mother. The scripture says, I believe that's Jeremiah, thy mother shall be ashamed of you. Let me see if I can find that. I believe that's Jeremiah, if I'm not mistaken. Let me put in the word mother. Okay, let's see if I can find it. Bear with me for a minute. Okay, I did find it. Jeremiah 50, verse 12. Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you, which is Great Britain, shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations, the uttermost part of the earth, which is the west, shall be a wilderness. That's talking about Babylon, a dry land and a desert. So ultimately, what is your mother going to do? She's going to shoot missiles on you. Revelation 17, starting from the 12th verse on down. The United States went to war against the abolitionists. Abolitionism, or the abolitionist movement, is a movement to end slavery and liberate slaves around the world. So these were Edomites. They were American too. Let me see. I'm sorry about that. Let me see. Okay, this is a war against the Cardenista bandits. That goes into the history of what's his name? Pancho Villa, Emilio Zapata. The U.S. was fighting against Issachar because they wanted to control the land. Confederate States, United States. Remember, they had two United States. And this is around the Civil War. Civil War, because they went to war. They fought together, and then they went to war. Then you had Mexico fighting against Mexicans. The American Civil War, 1861 to 1865. Now check this out. United States Indian Home Guard was a series of voluntary infantry regiments recruiting from the 5 civilized tribes. So you had Gad fighting on the side of the United States. Then you even had Seminoles that sold out. The Seminole Nation. I believe they were one of the 5 civilized tribes. The Great Seminole Nation of Oklahoma. There you go. That's why your father's line, Apostle Ricard, is this, and I told you, I'm a Gad. I said, you ain't a Gadite, you a Reubenite. He said, no, I'm a Gadite, man. I'm from Florida. I'm a Gadite. Then he came back the next week and he said he was a Reubenite. What's the elder Mawatazak? I told him in front of his face at my house years ago. He said he's a Jew. I said, what tribe? He's a Jew. I said, you ain't Judah. I said, you a Gadite. He got mad at me. He actually got me. He said, hey, man, I'm a Judite, brother. I'm a Judite, man. Then guess what? He found out that he was a Gadite. Now we call him Ice Cube, because he looked like Ice Cube, favorite Ice Cube. He looked like he can be related to him. He probably is. Now, Ice Cube, when you do the research on him, he got the spirit of a Seminole. That's why he broke off from this group. He didn't want to deal with the small hats. You know? So Ice Cube got to be a Seminole. Hey, the Jackson 5, the Jacksons, Joe Jackson, they got to be Gadites or Reubenites. See, Gad can do what Jake can do. Muskogee Nation. See, Great Seal of the Muskogee Nation. From Oklahoma, so they would have to most likely be Seminoles. So they were fighting with the U.S. to fight against the Confederates. Confederates meaning against the Federation. That's hence the Civil War. Location: Southern United States, Indian Treaty, a northwestern United States, Western United States, because you had the West nation, America to the west. They didn't want to join the Union. They didn't want to be a part of it. So Lincoln declared war against them. And he said the punishment is we're going to take your slaves. They didn't free the slave. He took the slaves. Call it emancipation, to hand over to the U.S. That's what the 13th and 14th Amendment is all about in the Constitution. Atlantic Ocean. Wow. Like I said, they don't teach you that. When I was in school, elementary school, junior high school, they never went into all these wars because they're ashamed of all these wars. And they were the start of all these wars. They were fighting Gadites under Abraham Lincoln's watch. Let me see. Yavapai Wars, 1861, 1875. Abraham Lincoln. Let me see something. Because he was assassinated in 65. That's a whole nother history. That has something to do with the bankers from Europe. Andrew Jackson, also known as the Indian Killer. Andrew Johnson. Ulysses S. Grant, another devil. So we got your track record, Esau. You're a warlike people. Dakota Sioux. There's Gadite right there. They make Abraham, he's a good guy. Abraham was a demon, just like the rest of them. The Colorado War. The Colorado War was an Indian war fought in 1864 and 1865, or to 1865, between the Southern Cheyenne. Now you got a mountain retreat called the Cheyenne Mountain Retreat because you had the Cheyenne Gadites out there. So these were Gadites out there in Colorado. I used to live out in Colorado. I've been out there, Colorado. You're looking for a woman, go to Colorado. Easy. The Cheyennes, Gadites. Look at the fringes. Arapaho, Native Americans, and the Sioux. The Lakota. The Sioux, I believe Esau gave them that name, the Sioux, but they're Lakota, which is Hebrew. Inclusive other results, meaning the U.S. did not defeat these Gadites. It was inconclusive. Other results, military and congressional hearings against John. Oh, we did a video on him. This guy was killed. He's a Christian too, just like my man Vocab Malone. John Chivington was a Methodist pastor and Mason. You can be a Christian and a Mason at the same time, who served as a colonel in the United States volunteer during the New Mexico campaign of the American Civil War. So he was a part of that. He was killing people. He led a rare action against a Confederate supply train in the Battle of, what is that? I can hardly read that. I believe that's Glory to Pass, that had the effect of ending. I'm not going to go all into it, but let me do this. This guy was a cutthroat. And you Christians are cutthroats. Okay, let me do this. Let me go to his quotes. See what this devil got to say. Okay, let me come down here. No, I don't want this. Yeah, remind me later. Deprived of humanity from the Sand Creek massacre to today, Sand Creek battleground. Oh, this is a Christian pastor now, just like vocab. At a very early age, I learned about the near genocide of the Cheyenne and Arapaho people that took place at Sand Creek. I'm trying to get this guy's name. Okay, it says Army Colonel John Chivington descended on the camp in the early hours of November 29, 1864. They gave no warning, sneak attack, and when the chiefs waved a white flag tied to a U.S. flag to show their peaceful intentions, the soldiers cut them down where they stood. So this was considered a massacre. They came in peace. And this is this guy, what's the devil's name? Chivington. Let me find his name again. Where did it go? No, I can't find his name. Let me do this. Okay, here it goes. So this guy was he's bloodthirsty devil. And remember, he was a Christian. He was a pastor. He was a pastor. See, that's that old hate. That's why these Christians come. These Christians are really antichrist. And that includes Jake as well. So anyway, let's come back over. You be here all day reading about the wars that the U.S. waged against Gad, put people in slavery. I mean, let's look at your track record, man. So now we understand the scripture. Now this is talking about Esau. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. They make these treaties with you, then they go against the treaties. But war was in their heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So these Cheyennes, they put up a white flag saying we'd surrender, and they just slaughtered them. But we can't do that to them. Oh, remember, brothers, Deuteronomy 23:7, born not a Edomite. And the word bore means, no, look the word abhor. Go to the blue letter for a change and look up the word abhor. It has nothing to do with the word hate. Abhor does not mean to hate. When your woman is on a period for 7 days, you abhor her. You stay away from her. So Psalms, okay, let me do this. Psalms 68 and 30. Let's see what that says. See, this man's time is up. Yahweh told his son Solomon. Solomon said that the Most High gave me the beginning of times, the middle of times, and the ending of times. He also showed that to Moses. He showed Moses the ending of times. Moses wrote some of the Psalms, which that proved that he was David. It said, rebuke the company of spearmen, the multitude of the bulls, with the calves of the people, till everyone submit himself with piece of silver, scattered thou the people that delight in war. Who delights in war? Esau. And I read to you a part of history, how many wars that they have. Psalms 120, verse 7. I am for peace, but when I speak, they are for war. So read about John Cheventon, whatever you pronounce his name. Them Gadites put up the white flag and he killed them anyway. This guy's a pastor. What about giving them the love of Jesus? Damn devils. Psalms 140, verse 2. Give you a couple of more. Okay, the chief musician is Psalm David, a song of David. Deliver me, O Yahweh, from the evil man. Who's the evil man? He's also known as the wild man. Preserve me from the violent man. Who's the violent man? We just read the history of the violent man, which are the Edomites, which imagine mischief in their heart. Continually are they gathered together for what? For war. They have sharpened their tongues like a serpent. Adder's poison is under their lips. Keep me, O Yahweh, from the hands of the wicked. We know who the wicked are. Preserve me from the violent man or the wild man who have proposed to overthrow my goings, my life. The proud have hid a snare for me, a trap, and cords. They have spread a net by the wayside, trap you up. They have set gins or traps for me. So this is the wild man. Let me go into that. Let's see what comes up. Yep, there he is. This is the wild. They called Esau at one time the wild man. And there's a movie on it. Look at that, the wild man. So there's a time in history they would call this man the wild man. Red right here. That's when he was in the caves of the earth. The wild man. I look at that. Wild men and Moors. So the Moors were fighting against the wild men. 1440. This is when they were coming out of this is when the Lord broke the chains. Revelation chapter 20. So when they came back into power, they were called the wild man. That's them right there. And this represents the Moors. And the Moors couldn't defeat them because the Most High put the spirit on them to fulfill prophecy. The wild man, medieval myth, and symbolism. And that's their sword. And that's when the Most High, then the Lord broke the chains off of them. Look at that. And tell me that this is not Esau, Edom. They're going to probably take this down because of this. Okay, it says where the wild things are, search of the, that ain't saying nothing. Wild man, this is supposed to be a spear. That's the blessing that Isaac gave them. Look at that. Look at that. They got either a tree or a spear or a knife. The wild man. Meaning. And they're saying it's a medieval myth. No, it's true. That's when they came after the medieval times. It was at the end of the medieval time. That's when they came back into power. Look at that. And they always carried a stick or a club or a spear. That's Esau, aka the wild man. Not a wild man, the wild man. Wild man or the wild man, a person who is uncivilized, a savage, a person of violent temper. So the wild man been loose since the mid 1400s. That's why they took over the Dark Nation. They took down the mighty Moors, which are Israelites, and the so-called Byzantine Empire. That wasn't the science. Historians call it Byzantine, meaning backwards. That was the righteous kingdom. So how is this man was going to take this place down? They're going to take it down through their weapons, man, through the blessing that Isaac gave him, which is Yahweh Shai. You had brother elders did videos on this, on the wild man. There's a group of people called the Wild Man, and it came out post medieval times, or the end of the medieval times. They were chained up, Revelation 20, with an invisible spiritual chain, just like we got a chains of darkness, right? That's why we can't overtake this man, because the Most High got the chains on us. Then he shall be loosed from his prison. Matter of fact, let me Let me go here. Let me go to Revelation 20. And I'm going to read in NLT. Then I saw an angel come down from heaven having the keys to the bottomless pit. This is NLT. And a heavy chain in his hand. He sees the dragon, which came out as the wild man, Esau. He sees Esau, that old serpent, who is the devil and Satan, and bound him in chains for 1,000 years. That was a spiritual, invisible chain. The angel threw him into the bottomless pit, which he then shut and locked, so Satan, the adversary, could not deceive the nations anymore until 1,000 years were finished. Afterward, he must be loose a little while. So when they came on the scene, the Heavenly Father, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, took those invisible chains off of them. What did they do? They conquered shit. They were taking down anything that was dark. That's what the Renaissance is all about. So the name that they didn't call them Edomites. They call them the wild man. And the wild man brings war. Psalms 120. And go back to the King James. I am for peace, but when I speak, they are for war. I think I read that. I read this, Ecclesiastes 3 verse 8. So who are the descendants of Esau? The wild man. The wild men. There's a time and season for everything, right? Ecclesiastes 3 verse 8. A time for love and a time for hate. A time for war and a time for peace. What time are we living in? Not living in the time of love. Going to see a lot of hate come November 6th and beyond. Democrats hate Republicans and Republicans can't stand Democrats. And they will kill each other. That's if the kingdom be divided against itself, it cannot stand. If Satan be divided against itself, they cannot stand. It cannot stand. That kingdom cannot stand. Who's on the side of Satan? Your woman. That's why you cut the women off. Don't let them tell you, well, your mama's black. Yeah, but my mother was a good person. You the fucking devil. You ain't my mama. Stay away from that woman, man. It's just coming out that what's her name? The Stallion, Megan Thee Stallion. She's coming out saying that she lied. So this guy's locked up. So if it goes back to court on the pill and he gets out, guess what he gonna do? He gonna sue the fuck out of her. He gonna sue the fuck out of her, man. They had an interview with what's her name? Gayle King. And Gayle asked her if she ever had relations with this guy. Yeah, once or twice when I was drunk. So she's a complete, you know what I want to say. And they all are. Them women in the music industry. Then you got this guy, DJ Envy, that demon, got his daughter, 8-year-old daughter. That's all I'm gonna say. And then when you go to them videos of his daughter, read the comments. Most of them are so-called black women, and they cursing this guy out. So Jake is waking up. All right, Isaiah. Almost out of here. I went a little long. I get long-winded in the morning. And Denzel's down with that too. He said, oh, I left early. No, you didn't. So it's coming out on all you people in Hollywood, you athletes and actors and so forth. Y'all all sold your soul to the devil. That includes Floyd Mayweather. Any of them that you see that's on the top, they did a backdoor. They made a backdoor deal. Isaiah 2 verse 3, and many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord. This is the fulfillment of the kingdom. So the nation is going to say, we got to go. That's the leaders now. These people that we call N-words and so forth, wetbacks, these are the chosen people of the Most High. So we got to come up under them now to learn the laws. To the house of the Most High of Jacob, and he or they, the Israelites, will teach us of his ways, the laws, statutes, and commandments, and we will walk in his path. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Yahweh from Jerusalem, which is city of peace. And he shall judge among the nations, the other nations. They're going to be our slaves, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords and the plowshares and their pruning and their spears and the pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. That's also in Micah 4 and 2, which I'm not even going to go into. If you go to the UN, the other side of the UN, which is a monolith, look that word up, you have that placard, which we spoke under that placard a couple of times, where it quotes Micah, which is the same thing as Isaiah. They shall beat their swords in the what is it? Let me read it again. It says, and they shall beat their swords in the plowshares and their spears and the pruning hooks. That's when the kingdom comes. So everybody's going to war. The IDF, they're fighting wars on 7 fronts. They're fighting 7 different enemies, man. One of them guys that represent the land of Palestine, land of Israel, he said that. He said, we're fighting, and he was proud about it. So he's thinking that the Most High going to come and save them. They're fighting wars on 7 fronts. The Hamas, Iran, the Hezbollah, Syria. Who else? There's 7 fronts. They said that we're fighting wars on 7 fronts. And then there's stories. I was going to do a video on them, the soldiers of the IDF. They don't want to fight. Matter of fact, I did a video on that because they're war weary. You fighting a war, and you got 7. You fighting against 7 different nations that are coming at you from all angles, man. That's not a good move. Jeremiah 51 and 32, and we almost out of here. And that the passages are stopped, and the reeds they have burned with fire, and the men of war are affrighted, are scared. That's talking about the upcoming war. They're going to bitch up on that day. The mighty men of Babylon, which is, we know what Babylon is, the city, that great city, have forborne to fight. They ain't want to fight no more. They have remained in their holes. And the word there, if you go to, I believe it's NLT, I believe the word there is barracks. Their might have failed, their weaponry have failed. They became as women, meaning they acted like women. You know, they have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. That's why this place is going to turn into a desert, as we have said. So we almost out of here. Nahum 3 verse 13 says the same thing. They have become women. Behold, thy people in the midst of thee are women. Your men are going to be like women. The gates of thy land shall be set wide open unto thine enemies. Number one enemy is Gog. The fire shall devour thy bars. Joel 3 and 9. Let the weak say I am strong, right? Revelation 13 and 4. Let's go to that real quick. And they worship the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? That not now. They're not saying it now. But what the Most High gave was the great equalizer, which are the missiles. Isaiah 14 and 9, and that's the last scripture. I'm going to read this in the KJV and the NLT. We're going to read the 9th and 10th verse. Okay, it says, hell from beneath is moved to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It have raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials, the worms' corrosion and corruption is spread unto thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? Lucifer is not talking about the spiritual demon Satan, is talking about the elite of this man. So now let me go ahead and read this in the NLT, and then I'm going to close. Forgive me for going long. In the place of the dead, there is excitement over your arrival. The arrival is that you're going down. The spirits of world leaders and mighty kings long dead stand up to see you. That's reincarnation right there. With one voice, they all cry out, now you are as weak as we are, because the great equalizer are these missiles. Your might and power are buried with you. The sound of the harp and that's in Revelation 18, and in your palace has ceased. That nice music. Now maggots are your sheet, and worms your blanket. Meaning your system is full of all these people in politics, the governors, the mayors, the president, the vice president, the Senate, or the Congress, which is the House of Reps, and the Senate, the Supreme Court. They're all corrupt. They're all corrupt. And this place is falling apart. There's corrosion. The worm is being spread under you. Your bridges are falling. Your roads are all fucked up. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom on to the next shalom.